As of December 2020, Austin saw double the amount of people move to it versus any other city. And on top of that, out-of-state money is driving prices in Austin crazy. So don't buy a home until you watch this video. Jeremy Knight, your favorite Austin realtor. Look, you probably saw my last video talking about what to expect in the 2021 market, and it's gonna be probably just as crazy it was in 2020. So what should you expect and what should you know about buying a home in the next year? That's the video for this. We're gonna go through really the tips and the things to expect while trying to find a home in the Austin area. Now, I did read some of the comments in the last video, and I was seeing some comments where people were getting demoralized about buying in this market, and they were also writing comments about writing offers $45,000 over list price and were missing out on their 10th home. So really, I wanna help you kind of navigate this market a little bit. You know, I don't want you to get frustrated. It is kind of tough going on in this market and missing out on offers. So maybe we'll put you in a better position on the next one. So here we go. Number one, what to expect is expect long lines. Literally bring snacks when you go to show homes. I have seen over and over what should take me and my clients, 45 minutes to see 2 homes takes hours because there are long lines of people waiting to get into homes. Yes, that can be frustrating. Yes, you'll probably see multiple offers on homes like that, but that is commonplace now. So expect to have to budget more time to actually see a property, especially when it's vacant, because there will be a long line of people waiting for that property. So that's one thing to expect. The second thing I'm going to tell you to expect is expect multiple offers, right? If you're standing in line and there's a lot of people there, we will see multiple offers on that property. I'll give you some tips later on in the video on really how to negotiate and to navigate multiple offers to help put you in a better position. That's later in the video, but really do expect multiple offers in this market. You've seen that in a lot of comments. So tip number one, this is a very important tip and it's going to help you. So please, please, please listen to what I'm telling you here. Use a local lender. Before you come to Austin, before you go to write an offer on a property, make sure you have a pre-approval from a good local lender. You understand the numbers. You understand how much money you're putting down on all different levels. I know I've preached this, but you must use a local lender. It's almost imperative. Local lenders do things better than some of the big banks and credit unions. Now, if you want to use a credit union, that's fine. If you want to use that online lender, that's fine. But it'll make more sense when we talk about multiple offers in this using a local lender. So we'll get to that. All right, next thing to expect on this list, expect to lose out on quite a few homes. I hate to say that, but I've had clients that we've written offers up to $100,000 over list price and not gotten them. So expect that you will lose out on a couple homes. It's kind of tough. You're falling in love, you don't get it. Falling in love, don't get it. And it's really hard on the mental state of a lot of buyers, but just go into it knowing that you're gonna lose some battles. And I think that's gonna help you throughout this process, because if you get your heart set on one home that you absolutely love, you get the warm and fuzzies, you write that great offer, and then you don't get it, well, you kind of have to get back out there and do it again if you are trying to find a home. So as unfortunate as that is, it's going to happen. The second thing to expect in this is expect to overpay on a home right now. I wish we were in a different market where we weren't having to write 30, 40, almost $100,000 over list price, but that is the market we're in. And this is also another really good point, going back to using a local lender to help set you up for future success. If you're gonna write 30, 40, $50,000 over list price, you're gonna run into some issues on the back end, especially if you win that offer. So we'll get to those tips on the lending. Next thing to expect to see the list price not reflect the close price, which means that if you're looking online on Zillow or Trulia or wherever you're looking at, my website, and you're seeing a home listed for $350, that home is not closing for $350. Majority of the time, it's closing well over that. So expect to pay more than listed price to actually win a home. That's not all the time, that's not every property, but just know if a home's been on the market 30 days, has no offers on it, there might be some reasons why. So this is where I give you a tip on multiple offers. Now, there is something that buyers are using to write into an offer that are helping them win these big multiple offers, and that's called an appraisal waiver. Now, there's 2 types of appraisal waivers, and one is your lender saying you won't need an appraisal based on the amount of money you're putting down, so they're gonna waive the appraisal. The other is the buyer, which is you telling the seller, I will pay no matter what the appraisal comes back if you're using financing. So that means that if a home is listed at 350, you put an offer in at 400, you're saying that if that home does not appraise for 400, you, the buyer, will make up that difference. So let's say if it appraises for 350, you're in a contract at 400, expect to pay an additional $50,000 out of pocket in order to buy that home. In a normal market, if it didn't make appraisal, you could come back and negotiate with the seller. But in this market, the offers that are winning are the offers that are putting in appraisal waivers. So if you're putting 5 or 10% down, this is where things get tough. I have tips for you putting 5-10% down that can't make up that huge appraisal difference. I do have tips for you further on in this video, so stay tuned for that. Here's the next thing to expect. Expect that home potentially not to appraise if you are writing an offer $50,000 to $100,000 over list price. Generally, when we help a client write an offer, we kind of look at where the trends are for that neighborhood to see really where we are. That way, if we write an offer 50 grand over and the trend is 50 grand over, less likelihood of having appraisal issues. Now, that's not always 100%. It will kind of help you in that scenario. If an appraiser can look and see that homes are on trend for 50 grand over and you're putting 50 grand over, they might be a little more lenient in writing that. I have seen recently some homes not make appraisal $5,000 to $10,000. If you are writing that waiver, do expect to potentially pay some money out of pocket. Here's a tip for using a local lender is local lenders will use better appraiser pools. Appraiser pools are using more consistently. So you might get a little bit more flexibility on appraisal from an appraiser, but that's not always 100%. But I will recommend that local lenders will have a better shot of making that appraisal. And that's my experience, right? That might not be 100%. That might not be what happens with the realtor you use and the lender they recommend. But it is really important that you have a good relationship and your agent has a good relationship with that lender because it's gonna make it easier for you down the line. So that's kind of another tip there. With prices skyrocketing all over Austin, expect not to be in the neighborhood that you were thinking you would be in. Now, it's kind of a terrible thing to think, but a lot of people, if you're looking in that 350 or 500 range, those prices have escalated. And so what was 350 is now 400. So you are going to have to move potentially further outside of Austin in order to find a home that fits that price. You know, I have clients that are looking in the $1 million range quite a bit, especially in the Zilker Park area, in Westlake, in Rosedale area. I have a lot of clients that look in those areas. And what is $1 million does get into multiple offers as well. A great example, there's a home that just listed in Zilker Park at $1,025,000. My clients are ready to write an offer. We were getting ready to go show it, and it already had multiple offers and a deadline. Yeah, every price point's affected, and I want you to set that expectation now because that's where things are going. You might have to be further out. This is probably a good time to give you another tip on multiple offers. Typically, when you're writing an offer on a property, the listing agent will put in the MLS all offers to be delivered by this time, this date. If you are writing an offer, there is no escalation clause in our contracts in Texas. So when they are asking for highest and best by 5 p.m. on Monday, they're asking you for your highest and best. You get one shot, not 2 shots, not 3 shots. You get one shot at writing an offer on that home. So make it the best offer you can. This next part really isn't a tip or an expectation, just kind of giving you an idea of where our market looks like. I pulled the numbers for 2020 to see where most sales were happening. And the reality is most sales happened in 2020 between 350 and 500. Second was actually between 250 and 350. And third was between 5 and 7. So if you're looking really between 350 and 5, expect you're gonna see a lot of multiple offers. If you're gonna be between 250 and 350, just know you're gonna probably see a lot of multiple offers. All right, let's switch gears real quick. We've been talking about the resale market. Let's actually look at new construction because actually new construction can be just as frustrating as a resale market. Look, a lot of buyers get frustrated resale, they go to new build and find some other frustrations they weren't expecting. Here's what happens. A lot of builders are only releasing a few lots at a time, so they ask you to put on a wait list. Sometimes to be on the wait list, you have to put a $1,000 deposit for a lot. And that happens quite a bit. So you're gonna put $1,000 down, you're gonna be number 35 to 120 on a list, which is great. Here's the problem. They're only releasing a few at a time. If some people fall off the list, that's great. You get bumped up the list. But there are other opportunities outside that neighborhood you might start missing on because you're waiting for this new build to happen. After they sell a few in a neighborhood, what do? They raise prices. So you're still on this list. and you were in this list looking at this price here, and now the price has gone here. You've come down a little. Price goes up. You've come down a little. Price goes up. You come down a little. Price goes up, you come down a little. You see where I'm going? By the time you actually get that home, the price is actually exceeding what you probably could have afforded on that neighborhood. And then you have to think about this. There are two types of new builds, right? There are to be built, which is the list you're on, and then there is inventory. On a to be built, you are picking the lot, you are picking the home, you are picking the upgrades. You are actually taking that base price and you are escalating that base price. Here's the other thing builders do, that they will do a auction on their lots, which means that they're asking you to bid on a lot. You are going to be paying what would have been a $20,000 lot premium. I've seen bids up to $200,000 on some of these lots, which is really driving up your price and is driving some of those buyers out. So being on a list on a new build might not be where you want to be, especially if you're trying to find your first home. All right, let's talk about your multiple offer. Now, I did say that potentially you're going to be in a multiple offer. What should you be putting in an offer, and what does that look like? Number one, your agent really should do a good job of being in contact with the listing agent, finding out what that seller wants, right? Is it just the highest net? Is it they want a quick close? Do they need a lease back? That's your agent's job, to go through and find out what information they can to put your offer ahead of potentially other offers. And that's what we do all the time with my team. One thing that might help you and set you apart is closing quicker. So if your local lender can close in 15 days versus 30 days, that's going to separate you from the other parties. It might be the difference between you winning a house and not winning a house. Now, here's the other reason why I really think it's important to use a local lender, is that the listing agent will call your lender and they will see your affordability, how strong you are. They want to make sure that that lender can close on time, and the confidence in your lender. If you're using a big bank lender, an online lender, and that agent's trying to get a hold of them and they can't, where do you think that's going to put you in the pile? Yeah, that's another reason why you really should use a local lender. Jeremy Knight, the Knight Group, your favorite Austin realtor. Thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share with a friend. If you found value in this video, I want to hear from you in the comments. I want to hear what you liked, what you didn't like about this video. If there are other topics you want to hear about in future videos, please drop that information down. Again, my whole channel is built around helping you, so do that and I'll help you. Have an awesome day.